Hello! What's up, YouTube Revolution? ZombfectedGaming 349 at your fingertips. Welcome to a podcast with DHC Network. Say hello, DHC Network.
Hello, everyone. This is your captain speaking.
Yep. And today we will be talking about Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, whether or not will it actually be a part of the Red Dead Redemption remaster / remake, whatever it's going to be. But let's say for example, if it turns out to be a remake, there's many possibilities that Rockstar could do to make the gameplay even better. Even though, like, if it's a remake and stuff, I can definitely see them not doing like re-recording lines. They'll probably just reuse all the lines. Like, for example, like you're aware of what they did with Last of Us Part 1, right? The remake.
To be honest, no, not really. I never played it personally.
Oh, you never played Last of Us? But I'm guessing you've heard of how there's the original Last of Us, and then they remastered the game for PS4, and then after they remade it again for PS5, right?
Yes, I did play the first Last of Us, but I didn't fully play. It's a long story, but that's another topic for another time.
Okay, yeah, understandable. But yeah, like the example I'm making, of course, is like how they reused like lines and stuff from Red Dead Redemption, or I meant not Red Dead Redemption. They reused lines from Last of Us 1, and then they put it into the remake of Last of Us Part 1, which is, the remake, of course. And I think if we're getting this remake of Red Dead Redemption, and if it comes with Undead Nightmare, they're probably just going to reuse all those lines and just refine the gameplay and make it better, of course, like more like Red Dead Redemption 2. And what type of gameplay improvements would you want to see in Undead Nightmare if it's a remake?
All right, as for the Undead Nightmare remake, I think there'll be some improvements, probably more combat style, because I think they should do it the same way they do it, how they did Red Dead Redemption 2, like how they do on that game, but a bit more realism on that, because I know Red Dead Redemption 1, there's some things that didn't felt realistic, like the type of, because in Red Dead Redemption 1, when it comes to combat, it feels fast paced. I have no problem with that, but if they're gonna do improve it, I think they should be the same format of what they did with Red Dead Redemption 2. That's what I could think they should definitely do.
Yeah, because Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely more realistic and stuff. Red Dead Redemption 1 is a little bit more arcade-ish and stuff, I've noticed. One thing I remember with Red Dead Redemption 1, haven't you noticed that with Red Dead Redemption 1 you can do rolls, right? And then Red Dead Redemption 2 you do those dolphin dives, more kind of like how Call of Duty has those dolphin dives. You know what I mean, right?
Yes, I know what you mean. I seen that. I played both games last year. They do that dolphin dive, and Red Dead Redemption 1 had that the roll. So yeah, I'm very aware about that.
Mm-hmm. So which one do you prefer more, the roll or the dolphin dive?
That's a good question. I like both of them, but if it's realistic, I'd have to go with the dolphin dive.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think I actually like them both in their own ways and stuff. Like the roll and stuff is good and stuff, because I know, of course, GTA has it, and Red Dead Redemption 2 got rid of it and stuff, but I think they're both good in their own ways and stuff. It depends on what type of tactic you want to use. A dolphin dive can be better than a roll, and a roll can be better than a dolphin dive, depending on, the combat situation that you're in.
Yeah, pretty much like that, I think it just prefers on the playstyle, most likely. I think that's all it depends on that.
Yeah. And one thing, too, with a remake for Undead Nightmare, since I am a major fan of the Dying Light series, the night times get extremely dark in that. And in Red Dead Redemption 2, night times can get pretty much almost as dark as the Dying Light games at night. And so with the night times in Undead Nightmare, they could make it just pitch black, and maybe they could increase the amount of zombies that spawn at night or something. And especially since it's a remake and stuff, there's more possibilities of of horrifying stuff that they can do for the night times and stuff too, which will be really nice to see.
That's actually not bad at all. Like I actually like that concept, to be honest. Like the daytime is like maybe just a few zombies, but at nighttime you got more zombies and other undead creatures, like more spawn at night. I think actually what you call how you say it? I think that I like this. I like that format, to be honest. I think it would be better. You know, less zombies at daytime, more zombies at night. I think I personally I like that one instead.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. So maybe what they could do, since that Dying Light 2 kind of has this, like, you know, like you fight like regular zombies during the day, and you actually have humans enemies during the day as well. But like humans, of course, their immunity drains at nighttime because apparently the virus in the Dying Light franchise, it thrives at night, and every single human carries the virus itself. And so they could do something kind of like that with an Undead Nightmare remake, where the nighttime is where all the humans are maybe like in their safe areas or something, and then, you know, more of extremely scary, like infected, come out during the nighttime. That's what they could do, something like that with an Undead Nightmare 2, which would be really cool to see as well. Like, even though Red Dead and Dying Light are both different types of games, it's just really cool ideas and stuff, because I know this genre pretty well, and I think the Dying Light franchise has a really, really good influence on the zombie genre today. I think it's the best zombie game I've ever played. That's what it is.
Yeah, personally, I agree with you there too, because I did like when I first played Undead Nightmare back in 2019. Like, it was so insane. I actually liked it, and personally, I think I preferred that over Call of Duty Zombies. Personally, you know, they're two different games, but man, I had so much fun doing that. And also, what you mentioned about, you know, how the survivors have their place of choice for survival. That's similar to that the town saving side missions in Undead Nightmare, because they did have that certain towns and areas in the map.
Yes. With Undead Nightmare 2, when you were saying that you prefer it over Call of Duty Zombies, I actually honestly prefer it over even Call of Duty Zombies as well. Like, you remember Undead Overrun, right? The multiplayer mode?
No, personally, I don't.
Yeah, so you never played the Undead Overrun in the Red Dead Redemption 1 multiplayer?
No, to be honest, I never got the experience to play that, because the thing is, it's just at that time I didn't have a PlayStation 3 until 2011, and even though like at the time my brother had Red Dead Redemption 1, but I never played that game personally at that time. That's until 2019. But as for Undead Nightmare, I don't think we couldn't get DLCs at the time, because, you know, we were too young, we didn't work at the time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, understandable and stuff. Yeah, but with Undead Overrun, it's actually like Call of Duty Zombies, but I love it so much more because, like, you know how Call of Duty Zombies and stuff, like, you're always like stuck in like areas and stuff where you have to open up a door and buy it, and then you get cornered in a lot, especially as the waves go up. Undead Nightmare is actually kind of slightly more like, if you ever played Black Ops Cold War Zombies, the Outbreak, that's kind of what it's kind of like. You get to climb up onto rooftops and, you know, take out the zombies from there, but as the waves go on and stuff, you got the Retchers. Do you remember the Retchers, right? They spit at you.
Yeah, I remember that. They're the ones that spit that green stuff. Am I correct?
Yes, those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those guys, because there was like a side mission. We had to bring those Retchers to, I forgot what's his name, but he's some type of director to make a film. Because the thing is, because the reason why I remember that is because back then when I first played Undead Nightmare, I was stuck and I couldn't find one, and I couldn't advance to Undead Nightmare. That's why I didn't finish it until like probably a month later. So yes, I'm very familiar with those creatures.
Yep. Yeah, the Retchers, they were, I remember they were quite annoying at first, actually, when I first played and stuff, too. Like, they they can do quite the damage and stuff. They're basically like the zombies that shoot at you. Pretty much, they're spitters and stuff. That's the only way like zombies in the zombie apocalypse genre can have ranged combat towards you.
Yeah, I agree, and there's more than just two types of zombies. You got the crawlers, which they could crawl to you faster, and
Yep.
you also got the big those big dudes that takes way more bullets to kill.
Oh yeah, they run into you and then they knock you over and stuff.
Yes, those enemies are so annoying. That's why we gotta use that Deadeye and just aim for their heads as much as possible.
I believe they were called the Bruisers, I think, and then the ones that you were
Bruisers,
talking about.
Yes, Bruisers, that's what they're called. You're right. You're absolutely correct on that.
Yeah, the Bruisers, and then the ones that crawl, those ones were called the Bolters, I think. That's what they're called.
There you go. Now you're reading my memory back. Yes, the Bolters, you're absolutely correct on that.
Yep. I don't know if there's any other types of zombies, but I do remember towards the end of the game, there was these Aztec-looking zombies in in Mexico, but I think they were just regular types of zombies. But I think isn't there only 4 types of zombies? I think there's just the regular zombie, the bolters, the bruisers, and the retchers. I think those are the only 4, right?
You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're right on that. And there's mythical creatures too. Like there's the chupacabra. Let's not forget that.
Yep. Oh yeah, those two. Yeah, it's been so long since I last played Undead Nightmare, but I really would love to step back into it again, especially on current generations of consoles and stuff. Since it's Rockstar's only zombie apocalypse game they've ever created, and I honestly think it deserves a comeback. It does.
Now that you mentioned that, I think you're absolutely right. I think there's any other Rockstar title that has zombies I could think of as Undead Nightmare. However, this is kind of related to the zombie thing, but it's not fully related to Undead Nightmare fully. But in the beta of GTA 5, there was supposed to be story DLCs, and there was supposed to be a DLC where Michael has to kill. There was supposed to be undead in GTA 5, and it's supposed to be Michael's part. He has to cure his family. It's similar to that or Undead Nightmare story, basically. But it was scrapped because in favor of GTA Online.
Yes, I did actually hear about that as well. Actually, I was very upset when I heard that GTA 5 Undead Nightmare was canceled, because just imagine seeing a rundown Los Santos and stuff, and like it's all post-apocalyptic. I'm sure if we had the old Rockstar working on this and the new Rockstar of how they are in favor of GTA Online, if we had maybe since that Rockstar's a multi-billionaire company, and they actually it wasn't just in favor of one thing, and they were, let's say, if they were more how Ubisoft, for example, they actually still make other franchises and stuff. They don't just make only one franchise. They don't abandon tons of other franchises in favor of one. And so let's say if all the GTA 5 story DLC was never canceled, we also got an Undead Nightmare for GTA 5, and maybe a zombies mode in GTA Online, I actually would have played GTA 5 a ton more and stuff, because in my opinion and stuff, when it comes to the zombie genre, I don't like playing zombie games that are just linear. The open world zombie genre is my most favorite. That's one of the reasons to why I enjoy games like Dying Light so much, and I also enjoyed Undead Nightmare a lot. Undead Nightmare was actually one of those games that actually really got me hooked into the open world zombie apocalypse genre.
Yeah, I know what you mean by that. I don't think there's not that many open world. Well, besides there's another game. I think it's called if I'm correct, I think it's called Just Cause. I think I could be wrong. You play as this biker and you survive through a zombie apocalypse. I think that's the name of that game. I could be wrong. I think of another game, but
I think you're thinking of Days Gone. Yeah, Days Gone. That's it. Just Cause.
There it is. That's the one. We're gonna edit that out, folks. Yes, that's what. Yeah, Days Gone. Yeah, I heard all about that game. I never played it personally, but I was actually wanting to try that game out, but I just never got around it. But yeah, that game was actually a good example of a open world undead zombie game. And, that's a great example for that. But
Yeah,
I just
that
you
is.
don't see that as often, to be honest. You don't see those kind of games.
Yes, I enjoyed that game a lot. I got that game back when it released as well. Professional actually even said that he enjoyed Days Gone a lot. He said it apparently was one of his most favorite apocalyptic zombie-styled type games out there and stuff. He just liked being a biker in that game and stuff because I know that he's
Oh
really
yeah,
into
I
being a
heard that
biker.
all the time. He does talk about that a lot. I do listen.
Yeah. I know he's more of he enjoys mostly biker type stuff when it comes to the zombie apocalypse. In terms of for me, I like parkour in the zombie apocalypse and stuff because realistically, years upon years in the apocalypse and stuff, eventually vehicles are going to break down. Bikes might possibly run out of gas, and at some point and stuff, you're going to have to know parkour and stuff to survive long term in these types of apocalypses because going to the high ground is where you're going to be out of reach of like hordes of zombies because the regular type of zombie and stuff has trouble climbing, so it makes a lot of sense. And maybe if there's also other zombies or something out there that are going to chase you, you're going to have to get to the higher ground, of course, as well, because they're going to chase you. It's like a game of tag, basically.
When you describe that, it sounds like you're describing The Walking Dead. That's how it sounds like it to me, to be honest.
The Walking Dead?
Yes, correct.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of that, because bikers as well, there's the character Daryl Dixon, of course, too. That's what also
Yep.
makes. That's what I think. That's what also Days Gone was kind of inspired by as well. Was kind of The Walking Dead as well a little bit.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. That's why it felt similar when I seen gameplay of that game. It feels like you're playing as Daryl from The Walking Dead. That's why I kind of see that now. It makes all sense.
Difference is though is that Deacon's the main character Deacon his personality is not quite like Daryl's and stuff because Daryl does not have a wife in The Walking Dead, whereas Deacon has a wife. And the only thing that he does have somewhat in common with Daryl is that he wants to be more of a lone wolf type character. That's basically what he is. And there was a time and stuff where he did like a Rick Grimes styled speech in the game, which is something that Daryl would never do.
Yeah, I can actually see that. You're right on that. Definitely right on that.
But yeah, anyways, with Undead Nightmare though, since that in Red Dead Redemption 2, there is, of course, you have to eat food and drink, of course, stuff like that to make your cores go up and stuff. They can add the core system, of course, into an Undead Nightmare remake. That would be cool because it will make the survival elements a lot better. So like, let's say if you didn't drink enough or eat enough and stuff, you will start running out of stamina a lot faster, and it could make you get attacked by the zombies a lot easier. Or maybe if you don't eat enough or something too, maybe your aim will be a little off and you might miss the shots on the zombies or something. There's many ways and stuff to make Undead Nightmare just, a lot more survival like.
I actually like the sound of that. Like, it's not only that, but you have to find, like, not only you have to feed yourself, and so you gotta use all your resources or other things too. Like your horse and your weapons, all that stuff too. And your location, like your location of a camp, that's probably gonna be the hardest part when it comes to survival. But I don't think it should be that hard.
Yeah, there's one thing that's a little weird about Undead Nightmare though too. It's the horses and stuff. Like, you know how the horses are ignored by the zombies, but they will go after you, right?
Yes.
At the same time, I kind of want to see like the horses not get ignored, and by the zombies and them go after the horses. But at the same time, though, too, it might get very annoying and stuff because your mount could die because of a horde of zombies or something. But that makes it also realistic at the same time. So I know a lot of games have accessibility nowadays and stuff, but I don't know if Rockstar would ever add something like this into their game or something because there's settings and stuff where you can set like toggle this on, toggle that on or something. Let's say if you didn't want this to happen, you can toggle that off. So let's say if there is a setting, it says zombies ignore horses, or zombies will eat horses, or something. That's actually one thing that would also make for a good Undead Nightmare remake in the accessibility options. Would you say so, right?
I think that'll work too because now that you brought that up, I just don't. If the zombies end up going after the horses every time, I think players will be easily be annoyed by that. Because I think I will be annoyed by that too. Because if you think about it, horses are the most main transport when it comes to transportation and going anywhere. Because
Mm-hmm.
what else is there to get out that zombies cannot target? You know, like a wagon. Like what's there to push a wagon? You need horses, but if they're gonna either you're pretty much can't go literally nowhere. Not even a stagecoach too. The only thing close is that one of those early model automobiles, like in Red Dead Redemption 1, where you're actually there's a mission where I think there's two missions. There's one instance where you're in the car with Edgar Ross, and that thing's slow.
Yep.
That's still gonna be you're still gonna get outrun by the zombies just through how slow it
Yep.
is. And the
Mm-hmm.
second is I think it was some type of I want to say a flatbed. It's like an old truck, but there's a gun on it. Like they had that too. Well, with a Gatling gun. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. You can use that to kill zombies too. That's if you have somebody to help you. If you're that on yourself, I don't think you're not gonna go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, but yeah, like with the whole horses thing, though, right? It just seems a little weird how they would just ignore the horses and stuff. And but yeah, that I would find that annoying at the same time, though, right? Like if your horses was to get eaten or something, because you probably, I don't know if you ever seen this in The Walking Dead, but a lot of times in the Walking Dead TV show, there's horses and stuff, and then sometimes some of the horses will actually get eaten by the walkers, and that was actually, especially one of the most iconic horse deaths was, of course, when Rick was riding into Atlanta in the first season of The Walking Dead, and the horse got overrun by a ton of walkers in the in Atlanta, the downtown area, and then Rick had to crawl under the tank. I'm sure you probably know that scene, right? Very iconic
Yep.
scene from the series.
Yes, I have. I've seen it before.
Yeah, that would definitely make Undead Nightmare like really scary if they had stuff like that in the game. But if you're not like really good at survival games and stuff, definitely that's something that people definitely wouldn't want and stuff. So yeah, kind of a a little controversial type of mechanic in the game and stuff. I'm a little on the fence with that type of like with that feature or something being in the game. Like I kind of want it, but kind of don't want it because I don't want like other people to feel that's unfair how their horse could get eaten that much. But at the same time, though, for like people who are really good at these survival games, will just say that's a little out of place or something. That's what I meant by that and stuff too. Like I'm thinking about both sides. Yes.
Yeah, the thing is, if they could give us an option for that difficulty, like if you want to play on easy, like the easiest mode, then they shouldn't attack the horse. But if you want something challenging, then yeah, they should definitely go after the horses too. Make it harder for the very experienced players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because when it comes to notice when it comes to Rockstar, they never add difficulty options to their games. Like once you start the game, you just start the game on a normal difficulty. That's pretty much how it works. There's no like hard or normal or easy type of difficulties and stuff. There's just one default difficulty, except for when you're playing in the online modes of let's say GTA Online or Red Dead Online. There's like harder modes for missions that you could put on. Like, you know what I mean by those, right?
Yes, they had that too in I think Red Dead Redemption 1 was the last game to have a difficulty choice, if I'm correct. I think they did have that.
Yeah, I think so. I forget. Because I do know that I think Red Dead Redemption 1 didn't even have a difficulty. Like, in terms of the open world and stuff, there's no difficulty. It's just missions and stuff. Like, especially for their online games and stuff. That's when you can, like, select difficulties. That's what I've noticed. Single player doesn't really have difficulties.
Yeah, pretty much. But I do that for sure. That Red Dead Redemption 1 what's the last game to have difficulties? Because I remember when I first did my Red Dead Redemption 1 Let's Play last year, and it gave me a choice. It gave me no normal, casual, and hardcore. I believe I'm correct. I had to look back, but it did give me a choice of difficulty. And I
Mm-hmm.
think if I'm correct, I think you could change it any time. I could definitely be wrong because I don't think I really don't really do that.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, I'm guessing you are a fan of the Western genre, though, right?
Funny story that you said that, but back then I wasn't because I just never got into it at the time. But that's until when I first played Red Dead Redemption 2 because it was a big trend back when it first came out. And, I have friends telling me, hey, you should play this game. I was like, I was reluctant to play it, and then I ended up getting it, and I enjoyed it. And that's where moment I regret it. Actually, I'll take that back. I think there was one game. There was one game that I actually enjoyed that when it comes to Wild West, and that was a game called Dark Watch. And for those of you who don't know what Dark Watch is a first-person shooter when you play as a some type of I want to say some type of cowboy, but you actually have some type of vampire powers, something like that, and you fight the undead and all that stuff. It's a really good game. It was for the PlayStation 2, a really good underrated game, to be honest. That's a game I personally enjoyed.
Yeah, I
But
gotta
that's the
say.
first. Don't go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta say. I think the undead, the zombies and cowboys and stuff, it goes together very, very well. I gotta say, like, it's really cool. I like the Western vibes that go together with a zombie type of scenario. It just goes together very well, and Undead Nightmare demonstrated that very well. We don't get very much games like that actually today. We don't really see games set in the Western genre or mixing, an undead type of apocalypse with the Western genre together. Haven't you noticed that, right? Except for Undead
Yeah,
Nightmare,
we
right?
don't get those kind of games no more. Now that you mention it, no, we're not really. We don't see those kind of games. What you call it? It's a shame, like that's a
Mm-hmm.
good creativity right there. But I just don't understand why they don't do it. Because I guess because people don't like the Wild West setting. And there's some people that do. Maybe that's possibly a competitor to Red Dawn Life, which they're not gonna do. So, which is unfortunate. So.
But yeah, there is possibly, like, there's a possibility and stuff we might possibly get something like something similar to Undead Nightmare and stuff, because you know how you play Call of Juarez, of course, right? Call of Juarez.
I only played the cartel. I never played the other ones because the reason why I played the cartel, what people say is a terrible game.
Yep.
I only played it because a friend of mine let me borrow it. Like, he let me borrow it and I played it. It was alright. It wasn't too bad, to be honest.
Yeah. The Cartel, I actually enjoyed that game and stuff. Even though it's not quite like, a Western game, it looks more like a linear version, first-person shooter version of Grand Theft Auto 5, kind of in a way, because it's set in LA, of course, and then eventually you go to Mexico. There are some Western vibes to it, yes. But in terms of the Call of Juarez franchise, one of the best, I would say, is Bound in Blood and Gunslinger. Gunslinger is also really good as well. That one's the most popular in the franchise, but in terms of a storytelling perspective, Call of Juarez Bound in Blood had the best in the entire franchise. And this was also, of course, you know that it's made by Techland, of course, right?
I'm familiar with that.
Techland, they're the ones that make, of course, Dying Light, and they've made the first Dead Island game as well. And since that Techland are really, really good at making, they're really good at making zombie games, and they've made Western games in the past, and also since that recently, Call of Juarez Gunslinger, that game came out in 2013, and since it's now 2023, it came out in May of 2013, and so in May of 2023, they did a 10-year anniversary event in Dying Light 2, and you can actually get Silas Greaves' outfit, which is the main character of Call of Juarez Gunslinger, and they called it the Undead Are Alive event, which was really cool, and so this could potentially mean that that Techland could be potentially rebooting the Call of Juarez franchise. Originally, Techland was the developers and Ubisoft were the publishers. But in the year 2018, when Techland branched away from Ubisoft, they actually independently became their own publisher. So Techland publishes and develops at the same time. And so that means that since that they now own the full rights to Call of Juarez, this means that they probably will want to do another Call of Juarez game again, which is going to be probably a reboot. And I would think that it probably would be open world, because Techland is really good at making open world games now. They used to make, of course, linear games. The Call of Juarez games were originally linear, and I'm guessing since that, Red Dead, of course, major open world Western game, and but yeah, with Call of Juarez Bound in Blood, there was actually missions, though, that actually kind of somewhat felt open world. You could almost go anywhere and stuff. You could actually walk up to areas where there would be bounties on the wall, and you can grab the bounty posters, and you could go after bounties. But you couldn't capture them. You could only kill them and stuff in a duel. That's what you could do. And so Techland can look back upon those, and they could expand upon, like these open environments, and make a really awesome open world Call of Juarez game. And since that, of course, that they are really good at making these zombie games, and they're really good at making them really scary too. Dying Light 1 and Dying Light 2 can be pretty scary at times. And the way the zombies, like the way they react, are pretty realistic in these games as well too. And so, with let's say if we do see a reboot of Call of Juarez that's fully open world, we could definitely probably see a zombies DLC for a Call of Juarez reboot, which would be really, really cool. I would really enjoy something like that. They could probably nickname it or give it, like, since that Undead Nightmare is kind of its own thing, of course, of a name, they could maybe call it Dying Plague or something. Call of Juarez Dying Plague or something, since they have the word.
Sounds good.
Yeah, they could, do something like that. And Techland are a really, really good company at listening to their community, and I'm sure if a lot of people, bring that up to them, saying that, you guys should do a zombies DLC for a Call of Juarez game, I'm sure they probably will do something like that. I don't know when we'll see another Call of Juarez game, but it's probably bound to happen, because I don't think a company would buy out rights from another company like Ubisoft, because and of course, with them celebrating the 10-year anniversary, that obviously means they're probably going to do something with the franchise. They obviously hold the Call of Juarez franchise near and dear to their heart, so something like that should happen in the future. But they're still very busy with Dying Light 2, and they're actually making a fantasy RPG game, which is going to be an open world game, which should be probably out maybe in the next couple or a few years or something. The game is still somewhat in its early development stages, and they still got like a good many more years with Dying Light 2, with tons of more DLC. And so I think this could help the Western genre out very well. I gotta say, Call of Juarez, I think, will be a really good possible competitor to Red Dead if they go through with something like this. And so, if an Undead Nightmare remake or remaster happens and stuff, that could help, with the time being, of course, in waiting for something like that to happen. And I think it could, make Undead Nightmare more popular, and because there's tons of players, I'm sure that they probably have not played Undead Nightmare, because a lot of people are either too young at the time and probably just played GTA Online or Red Dead Online or Red Dead Redemption 2 now. And I think it could really put an undead Western on the map very well. And so, it's it could help it out a lot. But I know you wanted to say something.
like to be honest, as much as I like that, like a whole compare between Undead Nightmare and Call of Home, it's possible, but to be realistic, I just don't think it's gonna happen because nowadays it's like companies just don't care about the fans nowadays. As much as I want to see an Undead Nightmare remake, I just don't. Because what Rockstar did to the GTA trilogy 2 years ago, it was such a disaster, and
Yep.
and I just don't have no faith in Rockstar remaking any games. So I just don't see it. And the thing is, I have my expectations extremely low
Yep.
because lately Rockstar's just been down the toilet lately, and just I don't see them doing anything like that. Ever since Dan Houser, Leslie Benzies, Laszlo Jones all left Rockstar, and ever since they left, it's just been going down. It's got even worse. And
Oh yes, for
it's just
sure.
and the thing is, it's just the fact that now with Rockstar going this direction, I don't. They just don't care about the fans. They care about the money. But I would love to see a Undead Nightmare remake. Don't get me wrong, because I enjoyed the first Undead Nightmare. I actually enjoyed it because I did a Let's Play on it last October for it was for the Halloween
Halloween.
atmosphere. Yes, and it felt great playing that during that time. But as much as I wanted Undead Nightmare 2 and all that, I just don't think it's gonna happen. And you wanna know something though? Remember
Mm-hmm.
when do you remember the what's the name of that DLC that came for Red Dead Online, Frontier Pursuits?
Yep.
And there was an event, there was a random event where we get to follow a dog to the random body, and at that time the dead corpse, it had glowing green eyes, and out of nowhere people started trending that Undead Nightmare 2 was coming, and personally I believe that too,
Oh yes, me
but
too.
and yeah, and and what the thing is, like I was talking about it with people. Then when I did my research, it was like I just like there was not that much results out there, and it was mostly clickbait. It's like, and I thought to myself like I think this must be a glitch or something like that because I don't think there's a hint of Undead Nightmare. So like, and as much as I don't think Rockstar will release a update like probably like a month later after what they did. Because remember, Frontier Pursuits came out in September the
20.
2019.
Yeah, I think it's
But
2018. Yeah.
yeah, they could have done that. Maybe they could have done it possibly as like an event. You know how with GTA we got our
Yep.
Halloween events.
Yep.
They should have done something like that. Maybe they could have had zombies and nothing. I think that would be the most anticipated event yearly for everyone. I think that's probably the sole reason why people get on to Red Dead Online. But unfortunately, Rockstar they just dropped the ball and just they never delivered. So
Yeah. I
as much
was.
as I think, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just really, really mad actually when I noticed that, like, because it actually made it look like Undead Nightmare was for sure gonna happen as well. That's what it actually almost made it actually look like. And what makes me really annoyed too, you remember the I think I forget what the game mode was called, but there's a mode and stuff in Red Dead Online where you get to become this beast like type of thing, and it's almost like a demon kind of. And then there's also NPC zombies running around with guns, which is so stupid and stuff. Like Rockstar was super lazy. They couldn't even like program them to be like actual zombies and actually make them go after you and bite you. All they did was they reused actual like human NPCs, and they also have human voices. They don't make zombie sounds. Like that was very, very lazy of them to do that. It just goes to show you how much they don't give a crap about Red Dead Online. That's actually a big slap to the face, I gotta say. Like the theme of the game mode was cool. I liked how they recorded like new music. That was cool. And also the atmosphere looked good. It had a very Undead Nightmare look to it. That's one of the reasons to why I wanted to play it and stuff. But yeah, like with the NPCs though being just regular human NPCs and stuff with just, zombie looking skin to them, it was really stupid, I gotta say.
Yeah, that's their part. That just shows how lazy they are. And but the cool thing they did during that time for Halloween is the Halloween call to arms, which basically the survivor for Red Dead Online. They're actually pretty good, but I think it would be better to have zombies instead of that. Like all that is cool. Don't get me wrong, but I think zombies would have been better, to be honest.
Yeah, it could have been like Undead Overrun. That's what they could have did. The Undead Call to Arms or something. That's what they could have called it. Undead Overrun Call to Arms. That's what they could have called it. Something like that. It would have been like Red Dead Redemption 1's multiplayer with the zombies. It would have been just so amazing.
That I could agree with.
Yep. And also, Call of Duty Zombies is so popular too, and Rockstar probably obviously knows how popular the Call of Duty franchise is. It's just Rockstar is so, like, they're so dumb. They just want to do always their own crappy thing and stuff. That's what they mostly do.
Yeah, pretty much. Go ahead.
Yeah, their style is just kind of really going out of date, I gotta say, like with the way they're doing things and stuff. Like if Rockstar keeps it up or something, let's say, I think the only thing that's gonna save Rockstar is just GTA 6 and stuff. If anything after that, if Rockstar messes up like with the online in GTA 6 or something, I think that company will eventually possibly like slowly dwindle over time, and maybe in a decade or a decade and a half, or like maybe 15 years or so, that company could possibly like fall apart, like almost completely or something. If like I know it won't be like a fast fall apart. It's gonna slowly fall apart and stuff. Especially if we don't get GTA 7 in the next almost 20 years or so, that company could fall apart.
Honestly, I think they've been starting to fall apart ever since Dan Houser, Leslie Bezins, and Laszlo Jones all left. I think that's where the beginning of their falling just began. That's where they start to get this negative reputation, like known to be a very greedy company. I think ever since I want to say ever since they re-released the Grand Theft Auto 5 for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I think that's where their greed started to begin there.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, this is why I also been wanting to talk a lot about Techland as well, and how I'm talking about like the similarities, of course, like with Call of Juarez and Red Dead and stuff, because like Red Dead is literally one of the only like really popular Western games out there and stuff. And before I actually even known of Red Dead was actually Call of Juarez. Call of Juarez Bound in Blood was actually my first Western game I've ever played, and when I first played that game, I actually immediately fell in love with the Western genre and stuff because of how cool it is. I'm actually a major history kind of guy. I enjoy history a lot and stuff, and so the game actually started during the end of the American Civil War, and it's all about these two brothers called the McCall brothers, and I gotta say that's one of the only other Western story out there I think that's actually really good, I would say, besides Red Dead Redemption. So that's why I say, I think Call of Juarez has a worthy chance of being a competitor to Red Dead. Let's say, of course, if Rockstar, doesn't give a crap about Red Dead. Let's say if they just focus on GTA 6's online in the future and stuff. And so let's say if that's around the time maybe when Techland starts focusing on like bringing the Call of Juarez franchise back, and let's say if they bring this Undead Nightmare style type of DLC to that, and since that Techland is a company that listens to their fans very well, Rockstar is not a company that doesn't listen to their fans very well. The developers at Techland, they are very active on Twitter, and they are very active on their forums pages as well, and they communicate almost immediately right away, and that's something Rockstar never does. All they just say is just like some stupid bot or something that will just say contact Rockstar support for this or stuff, something like that. But yeah, you're always talking to an actual person when it comes to Techland, and so this is why I think that Techland's bringing back Call of Juarez would actually make for a really good competitor. You know what I mean, right?
Yes, I know what you mean. But just keep in mind that Call of Juarez and Undead Nightmare are two different types of genres, just to keep that in mind.
Yes. It's just if they do obviously like a zombies DLC, because Techland is just so well known for just doing that type of thing, and I don't know if you ever heard of this game before. It's Hunt Showdown. It kind of looks like Call of Juarez and Red Dead a little bit. It's mostly in first person. It's a Western-styled game. That's one of the closest games to also looking a lot like Undead Nightmare, and there's also melee weapons that you can use too, so it almost slightly kind of looks a little bit like you're playing Dying Light, but like with an Undead Nightmare look to it, and also with tons of revolvers, of course, that you can use in westernized weapons, which is cool.
Yeah, actually, yeah, like, I do like the sound of that. In essence, like to be honest, I personally never played the Dying Light games, but I heard about it and they're pretty much well done. And I will admit that, but just it depends how it works out and make sure how the game runs smoothly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. One of the head guys and stuff at Techland, his name is Timon Smektala, and everybody looks at him. He's like, oh, they say, oh yeah, this guy's a Giga Chad. He's such a really cool guy. This guy makes the Dying Light franchise so amazing and stuff. He's basically like for example, like the equivalent to like the really awesome people that were at Rockstar before and they've left. Let's say, for example, if Techland became so big and stuff, and let's say, for example, if Timon was fired and all the whole entire team of Techland fell apart and replaced with new people, that's basically what happened to Rockstar and stuff. That's what I wish Rockstar, had the communication of what Techland has.
Let me like honestly that's pretty much common to be honest because I think when they let go of major people then that what happens is basically they fall apart and that's where a lot of gaming companies go bankrupt and it's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's one thing with the game companies. They should learn to not do this. Don't fire one of the people that make your games really, really good. Another example is you probably heard of Konami and Kojima, right? With the whole Metal Gear thing, like of how they let go Hideo Kojima, and that Konami was under fire for a very long time. Even till this day, people still hate it. I think it was like 2015 after the game Metal Gear Solid 5 came out. A, a lot of people still even hate on Konami today because of it. He's the one
Yeah,
made Metal Gear really good. I don't know if you ever played the Metal Gear games, but if you enjoy stealth games, you definitely will like the Metal Gear games. But even though that's a different topic and stuff, I'm just talking like the ideas of how what's that word I was trying to say, like the parallels and stuff of how it's similar or something similar situation.
yeah, I know what you mean. Personally, I never played the Metal. Sorry, folks, I know you guys hear me. I never played the Metal Solid Gear games ever. I never got around it. But I know what you mean though, because like if they made them good though, what's the point of letting go? Because if you let go majority of people, you're pretty much screwed. You're pretty much in jeopardy, and and the fans are gonna be very upset. Because when you let go of people who are very important to the franchises, then you're history.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just like, what happened to, obviously, with Rockstar Games and all their amazing, past titles. That's history now, too.
I agree.
It's like, let's say if Rockstar, like, didn't turn out the way they are, if they had all the old people still there and they didn't have, like, to listen to, like, Take-Two all the time or something as, like, like, because I know Take-Two is kind of a bossy company as well, but, like, we probably would have seen remakes of possibly GTA 3, GTA Vice City, GTA San Andreas. We would have seen single-player games and stuff. But Rockstar just mostly focuses on their online stuff. We probably would have seen like games like, you're aware of how Resident Evil gets remakes. What else gets
Yep.
remakes now? Dead Space recently got a remake. What else got a remake? I'm just trying to think of
Let me
tons of other
see.
remakes. Uh,
I can't personally think of any.
oh yeah, Silent Hill is getting a remake as well. We're in the era of remakes and stuff, and Rockstar does not understand that remakes will give them money, and these guys just love money and stuff, and they just won't do it. and stuff,
They
and
just
that's
keep
why.
milking GT Online.
Yep, and that's why I say, Undead Nightmare Remake would be amazing and stuff, especially people who love the zombie genre. A lot of people actually always say that the zombie genre is dying, but it's not. That's not the case, actually. The zombie genre is still very much thriving. It's just only people that actually hate the genre and actually just say it's dying and stuff. And when somebody says something's dying and stuff, it tends to trend everywhere. That's exactly, because negativity, trends, right?
Yep.
And if it was a dying genre and stuff, Dying Light would not be as popular as what it is and stuff, because
I agree.
it's very popular. I think open world zombie apocalypse games is just becoming very, very, very popular and stuff, especially since the last decade. In the early 2000s, we didn't really see any open world zombie game. They're mostly just linear. Ever since when we started seeing games like Dead Rising, I don't know if you ever heard of that one, right?
I heard about it, but never played it personally.
Yeah, Dead Rising actually is an open world zombie apocalypse game that came out towards the late early 2000s, so close to 2010. And then Dead Rising 2 came out in the year 2010. Undead Nightmare came out in the year 2010, and then so on and so forth. We got Dead Island 1 in 2011, which was open world. Eventually, DayZ, you might know what that is. It's a open world zombie apocalypse game with tons of other players who can kill each other, you can rob each other, stuff like that. It just goes to show you that this genre started to blow up and stuff, like open world zombie apocalypse survival. It's really, really good, I would say. I enjoy it a lot. And I think what also influenced it too was, of course, The Walking Dead, because The Walking Dead is all about, of course, surviving against even bandits, of course, like other humans who can rob you, even kill you, or and then you have to deal with the threat of zombies at the same time. So like if you're dealing with like other humans that shoot at each other, and the zombies hear it and stuff, it makes for like this crazy three-way battle, and that actually does happen a lot. Even in the Dying Light games, you'll have like other cults and other factions that will attack you, and it makes a lot of noise, and it attracts hordes and stuff. Even Days Gone has that as well. So yeah, just very much just goes to show you that this is a really good genre, and Undead Nightmare, I think, really influenced it as well. So that's why I'm saying, of course, a remake would be amazing, but who knows and stuff, right? For Undead Nightmare as a remake. But it would make Rockstar a lot of money. It'll be money on the table, but who knows if they will, take that opportunity or not. We'll have to wait and see, possibly by August, because we did hear that this reveal could come as early as August for Red Dead Redemption 1 remaster / remake, whatever it is. It's up in the air. Everybody's calling it remaster or remake. You can't help but just not say remake at the same time, because if you're just going to say remaster, who knows? It might not be a remaster, it might not be a remake, it could be either or, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, but it's what the future. It just has to see what the future tell. But just remember, keep your expectations extremely low when it comes to Rockstar. You can't trust
Yep.
them after all.
Yep. Pretty much. But yeah, anyways, I think that's pretty much it that we had to talk about for today and stuff. Yeah, nice to have you, DHC.
Thank you for having me, Zonfected. I appreciate it. It's my first ever This is my first time being in the podcast, and it feels pretty fun. I actually like talking about topics like this, so thanks for having me here.
Oh yeah. Thanks. Thanks for stopping by, and thank you for having this conversation with me, man. It was great.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
And yeah, we should play a game at some point. It'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. Likewise, whenever.
All right, I'll definitely show you some, I don't know, clips of Dying Light 2 or whatever and stuff, because I know you did say that you might put that on your list or something and possibly play through. play through them, or play through the first game and the second game. I'm sure you probably might enjoy it. It's very a different type of zombie apocalypse game than your normal zombie apocalypse game, so I'm sure you probably might enjoy it and stuff. If you enjoy parkour, you'll have a blast.
For sure, I'll get around that soon in the future.
Yep. Yeah, no problem. You just take your time and stuff. I know you got a lot of, also tons of other games too you like to play as well. I know you're a playthrough channel.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. All right there. All right, you have a good one. And if you're a fan of these types of games, guys, consider subscribing to the channel and ding that bell icon really hard so I can always stay within fast reach of your fingertips when new uploads arrive. And also, please make sure that you check out DHC's channel as well. He's on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and he will apparently cook a sheep taco a sheep taco and review it and stuff. And so, yeah. Anyways, guys, ZombfectedGaming 349 over and out.